Webb's is delighted to present the Peter Downey Collection Part 2.
It's funny, with me particularly, I think I've got the collecting disease, really. I mean, it affects me emotionally. I used to be the youngest collector in New Zealand of any note. Now I'm one of the oldest, which is crazy, really. It's hard for me to understand that, but that's just life. There was nowhere you could go to learn to be an antique dealer. There was no such thing. You had to do it or teach yourself, basically.
Peter is an integral part of the Webb story, being instrumental in the founding in the 1970s alongside Peter Webb and establishing the jewellery department and covering all things decorative arts.
I was standing outside my shop and Peter Webb owned Peter Webb Galleries along the road from me, about 100 metres along the road, and he would walk past, and I was standing outside the shop, and it was a sunny day, and he came past. Anyway, he stopped and we had a bit of a chat, and he said, well, why don't we open up a new auctioneering company? He said this to me, you do all the antiques and I'll do all the art. And I just said, oh, okay. And that's what we did.
Peter worked with Webb's for another 5 years before moving to Michael Hill and helping establish their antique jewellery department. He worked there for another 18 years. Webb's originally sold the first part of Peter's collection in 2009, and we're delighted to bring the second part to the market 14 years on. The eclectic collection contains an exceptional offering of edge weaponry from both Japan and the Democratic Republic of Congo, some amazing Chaparras bronzes, a huge collection of Caolán, we've got fossils and even a dinosaur egg. One of the key highlights is the selection of Chaparras bronzes.
They were really examples of extravagance of the 30s, and I lived with them. I wore the kind of clothes that you would expect, velvet suits and Art Deco scarves, and I had a big sports car and all that type of thing.
Another highlight is the selection of Japanese edge weaponry containing samurai swords.
Always been interested in swords and sharp edge weapons, I suppose you could say. It's difficult to find them in New Zealand, and it's also the responsibility of looking after them is quite formidable. You cannot buy lots because there aren't any, they're not available. Particularly like the tantos, which are these small swords, but they have a blade which is less than 12 inches. The quality of workmanship just to make these Fushi and Kashira and the Suba really, really beautifully made. And I've always said that the craftsmen that made these fittings that go on these lovely pieces were every bit as good as the best Fabergé workmen. The thing that you have to be always mindful of if you're going to be a collector is that your taste changes. People often ask me about what's my favourite things, but for collectors, they don't have favourites.
It has been our honour to work with Peter to bring this incredible collection to market. The auction takes place on Saturday the 22nd of July at 1 p.m. at the Webb's Gallery, and it's now on view there also. See the full catalogue on our website.